What's up, guys? What's going on, weirdos? What's going on? All right, let's have a look across the market, guys. Kind of a weird Saturday. We got volume in the market. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. We're going to get into the super chats, guys. We're going to get into the chat. We're going to look at the news. But first, shout out to the channel sponsor, Decent biometric wallet. Get yourself the biometric or the card wallet today, guys. Use our link down below. Get a fantastic deal. I use them. You should use them. Everyone should use them. Not your keys, not your coins. Don't trust exchanges with your crypto, guys. You could end up. FTX is a perfect example, right? Get your stuff off exchanges. All right. Let's get into some of this. Ramona beats everybody to the punch with a super chat. Happy weekend, wealthy weirdos. Don't forget to smash that like button. Absolutely, guys. Absolutely. And listen, guys, if you're out there and you got the free membership handed out by the gifted membership, make sure you show your undying appreciation and loyalty to D's Nuts. Okay? Cody, Lamborghini soon. I think that Lamborghini is going to end up putting a halt on orders because manufacturing is going to be so backed up. It's going to be hilarious. And another a member, sorry. Happy Mother's Day weekend to all the mamas. Yes, absolutely. I got it. Thanks you for reminding me. I have to go do some Mother's Day shopping today, guys, or I will not be here the day after Mother's Day because I'll be dead. So, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, what? I got a cough. Apologies. All right. Let's get into the chat. Blad, what's going on? Good to see you. Good to see you. William, my guy, my dude, what's up, my friend? Good to see you, man. Ryan, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you, man. WF Capital, Zebek, hell yeah, Zebek. What's Zebek doing today anyway? It's down 4% on the day. It's okay, though. It's okay. Danny, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. 47 million. Jeez, you're crazy, man. That is an epic bag you got there, brother. WF Capital is going to retire on a Zebek. Quinn, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. First Pokemon of the day, Bulbasaur. We got J Money. What's up, fam? Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Strawberry Dragon. What's up, awesome future family? What's going on? What's up, Rob? When is the next potential correction on Bitcoin? I literally talk about this in every single video I do TA on Bitcoin. Let's have a look at it here. So Bitcoin's playing out right now perfectly inside of the our thesis of a bull pennant that was going to form here. So far, we're ping-ponging right inside. We're consolidating inside of this bull pennant so far. It's probably going to be about a week, could be as high as 2 weeks of consolidation here before we break to the upside between 107 and 109K is my next leg up. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at here. You're looking at the correction right now. You're looking at consolidation inside a bull pennant. We could at some point, we could come down and retest here, but I mean, at the end of the day, the candle's probably going to come right back up and close inside of this bull pennant. So yeah. I like the stonk. Gerald, what's up, buddy? I can feel it. I can see it. All look pretty sweet for takeoff. Absolutely. There she is. Gamma Goddess in the house. I love these green days. My portfolio is almost fully green. I hope everyone's enjoying their weekend so far. And let's stay calm and get this money. Yes, absolutely, guys. I remember not too long ago, just like 3 or 4 weeks ago, everyone was so miserable. We were at $74,000 Bitcoin. Everyone was upset. Everyone was in the red. Everyone was panicking. And what was I there doing, guys? I was telling you, buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip, dip, dip. And here we are, and everyone is turning green. Everyone who bought the dip is up big. Because of that, it brought their cost averages down. Everyone's looking super fantastic. Shiny Wheezing, what's up, man? I told you it was going to start running May until November. Baby. You only have time to buy until late June, early July. The peak will be in November. There you go. Good call. Wheezing in the house. Absolutely. Johnny, don't think I don't know that's you, brother. Don't think I don't know that's you. The OG, the first member of the channel ever, guys, ever. Supporting the Bro Alliance. Absolutely, man. Jared, what's up, buddy? Green Day's ahead, and the real fun hasn't even started. Appreciate everything you do for everyone on the Patreon, Rob. Hey, no problem, brother. No problemo. Guys, as always, make sure you hit the like and subscribe to the channel. Helps the channel grow. Doesn't cost you a single solitary penny, guys. Not a dime, not a nickel, not a penny, nothing. Go ahead and hit it, whack it, smack it. Just give it a little tap at home. Tap at home, right? A little tap, tap, tap-a-roo. What else do we have? Parallel Life, what's going on? Paul, good to see you, my guy. Good to see you. Cody, what's up, man? My guy, made it in on time. Still going to do push-ups, grow my push-up bag, just like my crypto bag. Yep, healthy body, healthy mind, healthy portfolio, guys. H. Barbarina in the boat, fishing and listening. I love it, man. I love it. Miller, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you. Happy Mother's Day, ladies. Coming up. Absolutely. Shane, what's up, Robin? Crypto fam. Hope everyone's having a good weekend. So far, so good, man. We got WWE Backlash tonight, guys. Are you going to be watching the wrestling pay-per-view? It's on Netflix, so it's free. Thank you for another awesome open mic Friday. Everyone is absolutely amazing. Good times. Yeah, you guys were chatting late last night. I think I popped back on at about 3:30 in the morning. You guys were still chatting. That's crazy, guys. If you missed open mic Fridays on the Patreon, guys, you want to get over there. And also, guys, listen, I'm dropping another gem over on the Patreon today. So get over there. You're going to want to get in early on this project, guys. Don't miss the boat. Get in early before the market fully takes off and you are left behind. Get in early on these projects. The link to the Patreon's in the chat. It's in the pinned comments. It's in the description. Get in where you fit in. Jason, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Getting this money. Hell yeah. I got the BTC commercial. Sweet bid. What's up, man? Happy Mother's Day to all the moms. Is it Mother's Day today? I thought it was like Monday is Mother's Day. Hang on. It's tomorrow's Mother's Day. Yeah, tomorrow. You guys gave me a heart attack, man. I thought I was already dead. I thought I was a dead man walking. Come on now. Terry, what's up, buddy? Happy Saturday from Augusta. Nice, my friend. Good to see you. Stargazer, what's up, man? I'm thinking about converting my $4,800 in ETH into Swift. How much do you think it would gain in profit if I do? I mean, listen, I think that Swift coin is a beast. It's a sleeping giant, in my opinion. And I'm going to tell you why here, okay? I'm going to tell you why. Listen, it's got the narrative that it needs, okay? It's got a great narrative, right? Look at the tokenomics, such a small market cap still, only $168 million market cap, still very, very small. Only a 10 billion max supply, 10 billion, that's it, man. That is 1/5 of that's 10% of XRPs, for crying out loud, right? This thing can go, man, and 100% of supply is in circulation already, which means no token unlocks, no dumping on your heads. This thing has the potential to absolutely take off, in my opinion, guys. Absolutely. Do not sleep on Swift coin. Over the top, what's up? Will you add me to the June list? I forgot a few questions during the one-on-one. Thanks. Yeah, DM me to remind me over on the Patreon, my friend, and I will add you to the list. You got me, WF Capital. I only have 35. That's still an amazing bag, Dustin. Amazing bag, brother. Dana, what's up, man? Hello, everybody. Everything is doing good. Hell yeah, XCN. I need to change my name on YouTube so Rob can pronounce it. Exactly. There you go. Now you're thinking, wow, you remembered me, bro. Yeah, it's Johnny. You're a true chat. There you go, brother. I don't forget a brother, man. I don't forget a brother. Z to the U. What's up, man? Give it a little taparoo. Little taparoo. What trading views option? What trading view options do you use to see the buy and sell orders on Bitcoin? I have premium plan but can't find it. You mean it's your buy and sell indicator? Your buy and sell indicators. Only been on here for 6 months. Hey, everybody starts somewhere, man. It's red and green graph. Yes. Over the top shot. Also, algo comment. There you go, brother. There you go. For the past 3 bull runs, BTC topped about 520 days after the halving. I'm thinking October might be the peak of this historical bull run. Yes, I've been pounding on that drum for, a year, like since before the halving event last year. I've been telling people that, like, because you had people at like last year saying that, the market had topped. They were saying in December was the top and stuff. I was like, guys, listen, Hangman is exactly right here. Okay. The Bitcoin halving, and I've showed this on the charts to you guys, between the peak of the cycle comes an average of 515 to 525 days after the Bitcoin halving event, right? Which would land us, the peak of the cycle would land us, based on it being in April of last year, the halving event that is, would put the top of this market cycle somewhere between the middle of September and the middle of November, right? You have to give yourself about a 90-day window of margin for error because no one times the top exactly. But so to everyone who was saying in December, and they were saying like 4 months ago in this year that the bull run was over and we were going into a bear market, they don't know nothing. They don't know anything, guys. You could tell people that have never been through a bull run before based on them calling the top of the cycle almost 350 days before the average top of the cycle, right? So yeah, that's exactly right, Hangman. You're exactly right. Z to the U. Toshi getting mean. Is Toshi doing good? Is Toshi popping off? Oh, 62.3% up for Toshi. I like it. I like it. Ramona with the super chat. Open mic Fridays are the best. You should join just for that. Yes, I agree. Absolutely, guys. If you are missing the open mic Fridays, my friends, you're missing out on a lot. Today is Mexican Mother's Day. Oh, there you go. There you go. Let's go BTC. Up we go. Yes, yes, yes. Nia, what's going on? Happy Saturday. Beautiful day in Toronto. On the walk, listening to your YouTube, and what a game last night. Yes, you know what? I was a little bit salty that we lost last night, but I take solace in the fact that Tampa had to put their lines in a blender just and push it to overtime just to get past us. And it took Joseph Wall giving up 2 soft goals. Well, I mean, there should be 2 goals bouncing off Morgan Riley, right? So that's not going to happen often. You're not going to get goals going in off your own player often, right? So with a lot of luck, blending their lines and overtime, Florida got a win, right? So I take solace in the fact that it took them all of that just to squeak out a 1-goal overtime win, which makes me very encouraged going into game 4. So, and Joseph Wall, I think that he'll probably have a much better game than he had last night as well. So there's a lot of positive to take out of it for sure. Neo Sun, my friend, Neo Xtrix, guys, listen, if you are not following Neo over on X, I don't know what you're doing with your lives, guys. Okay, get over there and shoot him a follow. We're gonna bring his page up too. We're gonna bring his page up. All right, guys, listen, go and give Neo a follow. If you love Jasmy, Neo is the best in the business for the latest and greatest in Jasmy updates. So go give him a follow for sure, guys. Neo says, hey, Rob, I'm just stopping by to say hello, but I'm going back to work. Jasmine, have a good afternoon. Thank you so much, Neo. Thank you for stopping in. I appreciate you, my friend. Thank you for all the work you do for the Jasmine community, brother. Uh, hey, Rob, do you think that Jasmine will be delisted from the innovation zone? Well, I mean, no, I don't think so. Not in. I don't think it's going to happen in. When is the next one? July, April, May, June. Yeah, so July. Um, they're not supposed to launch Junction, I think, until Q3 of this year. Their mainnet. So it might take until July, August. It may take until October. We might not get out until October. No dumping on your heads. We're cracking. You're cracking me up. There you go, brother. Lark Davis made a good comment the other day. Don't ask a woman her age and ask a man how many BTC he holds. Nice. There you go. Big Botto, my guy. What's up, buddy? Gifting out one membership. Thank you so much, man. Guys, thank you for your generosity and supporting the channel. It means everything, guys. It really, really does. I cannot stress that enough. Thank you so much. Marcus, what's up, buddy? Wishing you and the Crypto Future family a super fantastic Mother's Day tomorrow. Let's go. Johnny, Crypto John is now bullish. He changed his mind. He changed his mind. Like he has a mind to change. He said alt season is going to be 2026, but now he says 2025. Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't even know how to read a chart. I don't know why he's giving predictions on when the top is. He can't even do technical analysis. What's up, Mato? What's up, buddy? Your portfolio is green and the market is looking juicy. Looking forward to our one-on-one today. There you go, brother. There you go. Amazing coins. Have no fear. I am here. Start my push-ups. Yep, get them in. Get those gains. Juicy Jasmine. Zesty Zebek. I like it, man. I like it. How do you super chat? There is a little down at the bottom where you put your comment. There is a little circle with a dollar sign inside of like a dollar bill shaped square. Should be right down beside the chat. That is where you put your super chats. When BTC tops and starts falling, will Jasmine continue pumping or copy? Altcoins always pump for I don't know, could be as much as a month or two after Bitcoin tops. 4 to 8 weeks after Bitcoin tops, altcoins continue to rise, right? Because then you start to see liquidity coming out of Bitcoin and into the altcoins, right? So Spencer, Trump considering rolling back China tariffs could be implemented as early as next week. Yes, that is going to be massive. But I said this before, it could be a double-edged sword, guys, right? So for everyone who's relying on rate cuts for the market to pump, listen up, okay? If we see rollbacks on the tariffs and some sort of positive de-escalation out of this weekend that's happening as we speak between China and the U.S. in terms of these tariffs, okay, we could see green in the market as a result. And on top of that, we're seeing China and the U.S. starting to stimulate their economies, buying bonds and printing money. Those two things could really, really continue to pump all markets, right? The S&P 500, the stock market, crypto, you can see these markets continue to pump like crazy, okay? And if that happens, going into June, if the markets are flourishing because of these two catalysts, you're not going to see a rate cut in June. And that's okay, right? Because it's a sign that we don't necessarily need a rate cut for the markets to pump. If Powell sees that markets are flourishing, he's not going to cut rates if he doesn't have to, right? Because it just buys him more time to work on inflation, right? Because he knows inflation is going to start to go back up because of the tariff thing, even in the short term. Even if we just see a temporary month or two spike in it because of these tariffs, right? Because we haven't even seen the effects of these tariffs yet. So in saying that, don't be surprised to see no rate cut in June if markets are flourishing. And don't be bearish if that's a result, because we don't necessarily need a rate cut if markets are flourishing, right? So just something to take into consideration. Rate cuts are not everything, right? They're not everything. So you could do quantitative easing without them. So Nick, thank you so much for your generosity, my friend. Rob, thank you for everything you do. Thank you for supporting the channel, my friend. It really, like I said before, it means everything, guys. It really, really does. Jake the Snake, what's up, man? Good to see you. You're late. 50 push-ups, brother. 50 push-ups. Jared, Monday should be interesting. Well, I mean, it's actually, the meetings don't end until the end of the day on Monday, so we might not get any updates on the the transpiring of what's going on over the weekend until Tuesday or Wednesday. So Nicholas, what's up, big dog? Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Datsky says hit the like button. I'll go pump. Nice, buddy. Beebs, what's happening, brother? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. I has a sad, man. I has a sad. My Leafs lost last night, but you know what, man? They took it took everything that Florida had to win that game. So I'm not that sad about it. All right, guys, I got a little bit of we got some stuff to get into, but look at this. Look at this article here. Let's get into it. XRP's likely price if it becomes the second largest crypto. This is a hypothetical article. As the broader cryptocurrency market gains momentum, XRP has shown moderate growth and now holds the 4th position among digital assets by market cap. With a current market cap of approximately $138.97 billion and a price of $2.35, the question arises, what would it take for XRP to surpass Ethereum and become the second largest cryptocurrency? XRP has appreciated by nearly 7% in the past week. Keeping pace with the market's upward trend, Bitcoin recently exceeded $100,000, sparking renewed investor interest across various altcoins. XRP's price increase has brought its valuation closer to overtaking Tether USDT in market cap, which currently holds the 3rd place with the market cap of $149.76 billion. For XRP to overtake Tether, it must rise by 8% to $2.56, considering its 58.55 billion token circulating supply, while reclaiming the 3rd position appears feasible in the near term. The XRP community remains focused on the more ambitious goal, overtaking Ethereum. Despite XRP's significant price recovery since late 2024, Ethereum has managed to maintain its position as the 2nd largest cryptocurrency. Since November of 2024, XRP has gained around 385%, peak at $3.30 in January of 2025. However, Ethereum has also experienced notable growth, including a 33% increase over the past week, pushing its price above $2,400 for the first time since March. This has widened the gap between Ethereum's market cap and XRP's. Ethereum's $282 billion market cap means XRP would need to add $152 billion to its market cap to surpass it, requiring a more than 2-fold price increase. At this present market value of $138.97 billion, XRP trades at $2.35. Its market cap to match Ethereum's $282 billion, XRP must rise approximately $4.82. Assuming its circulating supply remains constant, this represents a 105% increase from its current price, setting a new all-time high for the asset. Several analysts have previously forecasted a price target of $5 for XRP in early 2025. Technical analyst Dark Defender cited an ABC corrective pattern for predicting a rally to $5 or even $8. Another analyst, Vincent Van Code, made a similar projection in December of 2024, though that price level was not reached by February as anticipated. XRP previously ranked as the 2nd largest cryptocurrency in 2017, but was surpassed by Ethereum during its prolonged underperformance due to a lawsuit by the SEC. Reclaiming this spot is uncertain. Depending on both XRP's growth and Ethereum's future performance, while XRP's rise to the second position is theoretically possible, it would require a substantial increase in market valuation and investor confidence. A price of $5 is achievable under these conditions, but XRP must maintain upward momentum while Ethereum's market cap remains relatively stable or grows less rapidly. For now, XRP's challenge lies in its price trajectory and in outperforming Ethereum's continued growth. Here's my thoughts on it, guys, and I do plan on making a different video talking about this because not everyone watches the live streams, but Ethereum is garbage, in my opinion. It's only good because the only reason Ethereum is where it is because XRP got sued by the SEC and Bill Hinman. We all know what happened with that whole lawsuit. And, Bill Hinman was paid like $4 million to do what he did, going after the XRP and Ripple, right? If that had not, so basically what Bill Hinman did was he handed Ripple and XRP some iron boots and an anvil and dropped them in the water, and they sunk, and he strapped rocket boots to Ethereum by giving them legal clarity, right? So Ethereum skyrocketed because people thought that Ethereum had legal clarity, and XRP sunk like a stone because they thought it was a security and that Ripple was going to go under, right? This was all done by one man, Bill Hinman. Had that not happened, okay, XRP at the time was the second largest cryptocurrency. It had passed Ethereum in market cap 3 times, okay? So by today's standard, now that we have seen two more cycles for the most part unfold since that time, we have seen so many different layer ones come into the space, right? Your Algorands, your Cardanos, your H-bars, your Caspas, just so on. There's hundreds and thousands of layer ones that have come out since then, right? Solana, many of which are way better than Ethereum, right? Now, the only reason, in my opinion, if this had not happened, okay, Ethereum probably would not be the second largest cryptocurrency in market cap right now. So many other layer ones would have come out and passed Ethereum, XRP included. Solana would probably be higher than them. I would argue Cardano would be higher than them in market cap. They got a head start, right, because of Bill Hinman. However, because of the fact that there's been very, very little production for Ethereum in terms of them developing and fixing gas fees and transaction speeds and stuff like that, it's a meme. It's become a meme in the space that Ethereum's gas fees. I talked about this on the Patreon last night. In 2021, Shiba Inu, being an ERC20 token, launched a line of NFTs, right? A collection of NFTs in the 2021 cycle. And I sat back and I watched. I considered buying one, but I sat back and I watched. All these people were trying to buy them the day they came out. The gas fee alone for a transaction was, the baseline was $1,000 for the gas fee to try to buy a Shiba Inu NFT as an ERC20 token, right, on the Ethereum network. Now, even if your transaction failed and you did not get a Shiba Inu NFT, you still paid the $1,000 Ethereum gas fee for the attempted transaction. You see why Ethereum is a meme now, why it's garbage? That's horse caca, right? That's BS. $1,000 for gas fees and you get nothing in return? That's essentially theft, right? So the Ethereum network is a joke, in my opinion. And as these other layer ones continue to evolve and grow, I mean, Solana has massively outperformed Ethereum in this cycle so far, massively, right? And if this continues, over the course of the next couple of cycles, it's not going to happen fast, but over the course of the next couple cycles, you're going to see these layer ones like XRP, Solana, Cardano, Algorand, HBAR, Caspa, whatever, right, are going to slowly chip away at the market capitalization of Ethereum as projects move away from Ethereum and migrate over to other layer ones that are more user friendly and cheaper and faster, right? And you're going to see Ethereum slowly come down and these other layer ones slowly come up. And at some point, Ethereum, in my opinion, is not going to be the second largest cryptocurrency anymore. The only reason they are where they are is because of Bill Hinman and a lawsuit on XRP. XRP would be higher than Ethereum if it was not for Bill Hinman. And that day probably will come, but it's not going to come this cycle, and it's not going to come next cycle. It's going to take a long time for that to happen. So be patient if you are an XRP fan. Right. What else do we have? Beautiful day, man. Hey, absolutely, brother. Beebs. Great game last night. It was pretty good. It was a good game to watch for sure. What do you think about Pulse Chain? I'm not a fan. Listen, I shouldn't say I'm not a fan. It's not that I'm not a fan of Pulse or Hex. I've never had enough interest to actually do my research into the project. I'll put it that way, right? So I can't say I don't like it because I don't know enough about Pulse Chain or Hex to like or dislike it. I'll put it that way, right? I'm not educated in all things Hex and Pulse Chain. I know there's a lot of other content creators out there. They'll say, "Oh, that's garbage" or whatever, without knowing anything. I will straight up admit to you, I'm not educated enough on it to give an opinion, right? So I don't fund projects. So it might be a fantastic project. I know it's got a huge community. I can say that, and that's a positive thing. So, all right. So what do we have here? Both China and U.S. are eager for de-escalation at this point. Check it out.
Secretary Scott Bessent and U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer will meet their Chinese counterparts in Switzerland this weekend for trade talks. There is a first sit-down that this will be taking place since President Trump hit 145% tariffs, hit China with 145% tariffs. The president saying that he expects substantive negotiations this weekend. And joining us right now to talk more about it is Michelle Carusa-Cabrera, MCC Global Enterprises CEO and a CNBC contributor. She's just back from nearly 3 weeks in China as part of a Brookings foreign policy delegation. And Michelle, what'd you learn on the ground there? Were you able to get a real view of what people in China think about this?
So a couple of things. First, the economy's weak. There's been deflation. Things are so cheap compared to I think all of you went to China during the heyday. Yeah. Difficult to get a hotel room, everything expensive. That is not the case anymore. The other thing that surprised me was not one bad word about President Trump, not from people on the street, not from people in the government. They were very quick to criticize Joe Biden. Mm-hmm. I think that's because Joe Biden's not in power anymore, so that's easy to do. But I think there's also this expectation that Joe Biden was going to be different on a China policy.
But he kept all of the tariffs in place.
Introduced export controls, right? So they're discovering that the attitude towards China is very bipartisan. But I think
from the United States having a strong kind of hawkish.
Absolutely.
There's no undercurrent of not liking Xi yet. Is there that we're hearing about?
I got no evidence of that. Nobody referenced.
I'm not blaming him for any.
You think that they would say that to a Brookings delegation?
No, I know, but with no body language,
nothing. No.
Did you think your hotel room was bugged?
I worried about that, sure.
Did you bring a separate burner phone?
Of course I did. I brought separate burner phones and stuff. So by the way, I mean, it's like if you want to go on vacation, it's extremely cheap, okay? Except for the hurdle of having to replace all your technology.
It really looks bad over there, like the economy.
I mean, it's relative, right? So if you went back when the growth was crazy and the cranes were everywhere, things were more expensive, it was harder to get things done. Harder to get into hotels and things like that. Now, you're in the beautiful hotel in Beijing and it's very quiet in the lobby, et cetera. There's just less to do there because their economic wounds, remember, are self-inflicted. They're starving the private sector, right? And as a result of starving the private sector, they do overinvestment in real estate. They subsidize exports, which is why their consumers don't have the level of consumption that we would like and would help, balance of payments in the world. So, you see all of that really play out there. Now, because of CNBC, I've traveled to most of the great autocracies in the world, and I would say it's the one that, except for North Korea, for example, that's where you're going to see far most Gucci, Prada, etc. There's commerce there for sure in a way that you don't see in Tehran, that you don't see in Cuba. It's not like that. But no, there's no evidence of discontent, but I didn't expect to find any.
So Chanos used to come on and talk to us about the ghost cities that were there, the
And
buildings
how he'd
that they
never
were
go over there.
15, 16 years ago.
I wouldn't go.
I've said enough things on air,
if you ride the bullet train from Beijing to Shanghai, which I did, which, by the way, compared to Amtrak is a really incredible experience. You see those places, all this massive growth that happened along that corridor. That's obviously not. Now, the other important data point, I mean, there's a reporter there from the FT who's done great work looking at the restructurings there, and especially when it comes to real estate, and the recovery rates on the restructurings that they've done 0.6 cents. I mean, that is horrendous.
So not even pennies on the dollar,
not even pennies on the dollar.
Right.
Okay, and those are restructurings done out of Hong Kong, right? Not out of the mainland. And so they've got issues. Now they've got capital. I'm not predicting their collapse. It's just when it comes to leverage, I think we have more. They have an economy that has been reliant on investing in real estate and exports. Real estate's done.
That's what they have,
and exports.
But we have to respond to press criticism and the suffering of our people. They don't have to do any of that.
The pride and ego are rather large.
Right. But
we have more leverage, but she doesn't have to be reelected.
That is his one point of leverage. He doesn't have to answer to the markets, and he doesn't have to answer to the
They're suffering, doesn't have to care.
It doesn't matter, right? So high levels of unemployment.
What is more? We obviously so much more do we use than we export there.
Here's the one thing I would say is that, remember, in democracies, you have your fights out loud and in public. You don't think the knifing, in the back of other people is happening over there? Of course it's happening in there. It just happens behind closed doors, right? And those battles are happening there as well. We're just not privy to what's...
Who can last longer?
Oh, I think we can last longer.
We can.
Yeah, we have a much more
Even though they don't care what happens.
We have a much more dynamic
I
economy.
know, but they don't have to worry about the well-being of the populace.
China's economy definitely cannot withstand this whole situation as long as the states can. That is for sure. Their economy was falling apart before these tariffs started taking place.
Do they? Not yet.
And
they're used to
until
it.
a certain point, until you do, right? Remember how he turned on a dime when it came to COVID, right? They weren't going to, they had the lockdown, they had the lockdown, then there were protests, boom, disappeared the next day, right? So,
but they did go through that for a lot longer.
Right.
So what do you think anything happens this weekend? We go to 50.
Oh, I think the message this weekend is that when it comes to the markets, we are now in a period of de-escalation when it comes to trade rather than escalation. Right? The market's priced in the worst.
Are they going to be eager to get to that point so we can bring things back down?
Oh, I think both sides are eager for de-escalation for sure. The bigger issue, I think, for the United States is what is our goal here? We have national security concerns, and they are connected to trade. How are they going to bring those two issues together without all what we saw happen in April?
Yep, I agree, guys. I agree. Listen, they're not going to meet for 4 days over the weekend and not come out of that with any kind of de-escalation or progress, right? So absolutely, I agree with that. Micro Dips, what's up, buddy? Yes, it is up over like 63% on the day, looking fantastic. Z to the U, completely agree on Ethereum. Who's it for? Junk. Yes, absolutely. MicroStrategy founder Michael Saylor explains why Bitcoin is not at $150,000 yet. Strategy founder Michael Saylor said that the reason why Bitcoin has not reached $150,000 yet is because investors do not have a long-term investment mindset, have exited the market. Speaking to Natalie Burnell on the Coin Stories podcast on May 9th, Saylor noted that many Bitcoins have historically been in the hands of governments, lawyers, and bankruptcy trustees who do not have a 10-year investor mindset. That's exactly it, guys. You have to have a longer-term mindset in this space. when you come into crypto, I cannot stress this enough. Do not come into crypto expecting to become a millionaire in one cycle or half a cycle, right? Expect to be here for at least 2 cycles, 8 years. If you can do that, if you can have that mindset and have that level of patience and zoom out, you will succeed in this space. It's really that simple. Crypto is so easy that it's hard because people overthink it, right? And people have a lack of patience. We're currently going through a rotation process, Saylor said, adding that many people with no economic interest are selling off their Bitcoin holdings. However, he argued that a new wave of investors is entering the market. Saylor said, unfortunately, a significant portion of Bitcoins ended up in the hands of governments, lawyers, and bankruptcy trustees, indicating that these groups saw rising prices as an exit opportunity. He added that this segment sold in order to provide liquidity in the markets. Investors who were not committed to a long-term viewed this rally as an exit point and withdrew from the markets. However, a new class of investors is entering the market through ETFs and corporate trustees. On the other hand, Saylor stated that the US government has not yet officially purchased Bitcoin and that the strategic Bitcoin reserve established by an executive order signed by Mr. T on March 7th currently only holds Bitcoin obtained as a result of criminal or civil asset seizure. However, Saylor stated that he was surprised by the government's positive approach to Bitcoin after Trump took office and said, I do not expect the US to embrace Bitcoin so radically in the last 6 months. I did not, sorry. I was surprised by how enthusiastic the cabinet members were. So I would agree with that stance. We got a super chat here by the Crypto Crossroads Show. What's up, brother? I noticed you have been putting in work covering all projects like Swift, XCN, Zbic. Keep up the good work. I started my YouTube channel and I'm covering Swift, Velo, and Lightlink. Nice, very, very nice. I'll have to check out your channel, my friend. I will definitely give it a look today, and I'll see what you're up to, man. Absolutely, I'll check that out. Congratulations on starting the show, my friend. And yeah, I will come over and I will definitely check it out, man. Always supporting, supporting the communities, man. So yeah, Facts 100, long-term holders win. Absolutely easy. Yo, late as hell. Happy butt. 50 push-ups, brother. Happy Saturday, bro. Absolutely. J Money, Mother's Day in Mexico is celebrating on the 10th of May. Oh, that's today. Yes, that is today. Holy Jeebus. All right, what else do we have? Oh, geez, we're already almost at an hour. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. What else do we have? Oh, we got another video to get through. All right. What else do we have here, guys? So Senate Majority Leader John Thune making existing tax cuts permanent would be pro-growth.
Senator Cruz was on yesterday. Senator Ted Cruz from the great state of Texas. I'll do everyone. He said there are factions in this administration. There are populist factions and there are less populist factions at this point. And the president wants to help, I think, working class people. Look at the tariffs. Look at all these things. The case could be made that maybe some redistribution or some movement on who pays the lion's share of taxes, maybe you could reallocate some. Is this the right way to do it, to go back to 39.6 on high earners?
Well, I don't want to see taxes go up on anybody, Joe. I mean, we're all about lowering taxes, not raising taxes. But I do think the president, he's not a conventional president. People didn't vote for a conventional president, and I think his policies reflect that. And I think the people around him understand what he's trying to achieve here. And that is, if you look at what he's proposing, there's particular emphasis on working Americans, hence no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, trying to lower taxes on people who are on Social Security, the people who are out there trying to make a living in this country. And I think a lot of his tax policies will reflect that. All these things that are being proposed right now, and of course this is going to originate, this all starts in the House of Representatives, they're going to have to figure out how to dial this and to make it fit within the parameters that are out there. The one thing you want to make sure you do is on the business side, make sure that those, bonus depreciation, interest deductibility, R&D expensing, the president's proposed expensing for factories, for domestic manufacturing, which would be very stimulative, get growth in the economy. And that was the whole goal in 2017, lower rates, faster cost recovery. And I think it worked. And I think that's what we want to do now. And I think it's important that those provisions at least be made permanent so that businesses can plan around them.
My main problem was that so many businesses, there's only 5% of businesses are C Corps. So
Right.
if you raise the personal rate back to 39.6, you're hitting all the small businesses, or many of the small businesses. But is it possible to exempt small businesses from a raise in the top rate? If you could do that, I like you would be less.
Well, and if you do, what does that mean for the revenue that you bring in as a result? How much money do you
when
get
you're all
if
the
you
way up at 2.5 million instead of when they lowered that top rate, what was the top rate, 300,000 or something?
Yeah.
I mean, now we're all the way up to 2.5, 5 for joint.
Yeah, I've seen 2.5 and 5. I've seen 5 and 10. I've seen different proposals out there, but I do think that you'd have, and they're talking about if they this were to happen, carving out pass-through businesses. As you point out, they're 96% of the businesses in this country. The one thing, of course, pass-throughs want is they want to keep their 199A deduction, the 20% deduction that was written into the 2017 bill. But as you look at what's currently in law, all of it expiring at the end of the year, on the business side, what you want is growth. You want pro-growth policies. When the economy is growing and expanding, it's creating better paying jobs. People are making money, taking realizations and paying taxes, and tax revenue goes up and goes up dramatically. So on the business side, that's what you want to see. On the individual side, I think what the president's trying to achieve, again, is to help working Americans who are out there every day trying to just take care of their families.
Senator, what you're talking about is extending the current tax cuts. So we're already living in a world where these lower tax rates are in place for the most part. You're talking about some new add-ons that go to help working Americans. But the growth that you're going to see from that, from just extending it, is probably going to be limited to some extent because we're already living under that tax regime. And second of all, you have a lot of people in your party who are very concerned about the deficit getting blown out. We're already in a situation where we're spending 7 percentage points more than we're taking in revenue.
Yeah.
What happens if you lower the tax money that you're taking in? And again, you want to help working Americans, but that's where the money is too, because that's where the broad portions of the population are. How do you manage all of that and not look like you're blowing out the deficit even further? Right.
And I think the answer to that, Becky, is if you look at what is being proposed, and what I would argue is the thing that's different is permanence. If you do this on a permanent basis, Tax Foundation, for example, says you get another 1.8% GDP growth out of that. And that's a huge impact on government revenues. So you get more growth, you get more revenues. For every 1% increase in gross domestic product, the standard rule of thumb is about $3 trillion in additional tax revenue. So you've got to have pro-growth policies to deal with deficits and debt. And then you've also got to deal with restraining federal spending, which is the other objective or one of many objectives in this bill that we're working on.
But you can only do so much
right
in the skinny budget where you don't deal with some of the long-term legacy issues like Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid.
And Social Security is not eligible under the law for reconciliation.
You can do so much with Medicaid.
President's taken Medicare off the table, but if you look at where the spending is, general fund spending, because both Medicare and Social Security have payroll taxes. About half of Medicare is general fund, about half is payroll tax, and most of Social Security is payroll tax revenue coming in. But net of payroll taxes, the big driver of federal spending is Medicaid. Yep. And a lot of that's because the states have figured out how to game it. And when you did the expansion,
the states were suggested and incentivized.
They were incentivized to do it.
Obamacare, it's out of control, and that's where the money is.
But a lot of those are red states where many voters are on those rolls.
There are red states for sure, but you take a state like New York or California, they have really figured out how to game this. They do things like provider taxes that they use to leverage to get more federal revenue, federal money coming in, then rebate the taxes to the providers. There are a lot of games that are played, but I think there are things that most people agree on that are reforms like work requirements. I think that's something that generally, not just Republicans, but I think most people say makes sense.
Yeah. But I'm sorry, Joe has used this statistic pretty frequently from the Wall Street Journal earlier this month, that there are $10 for able-bodied men
versus
every
$1.50
for women and disabled.
Pregnant women and disabled. There are so many able-bodied people that don't. There are no work requirements that are gaming the Medicaid. But the rap is that Republicans don't have the intestinal fortitude to face the Democrats that are going to demagogue it and say you're cutting Medicaid and pushing. Once again, you're pushing grandmother off a cliff in her wheelchair. That's what you're going to hear.
Yeah, and they are going to demagogue it. I mean, that's what they do. And, they had, when they had unified control of the government, House, Senate, White House, they did 2 reconciliation bills, which increased spending by $3 trillion. And we have now, for only the 5th time in the last century, unified control of the government, House, Senate, and White House. And by the way, 4 of the 5 times we've had it's only lasted 2 years. So you really have to maximize your opportunity. But we have a chance to do something meaningful about spending and about this $38 trillion debt, which is not sustainable. And we've got to start slowing the growth of spending. And you can do that without hurting beneficiaries. And I think work requirements is a good example of that. That saves you, over $100 billion. And there are some other reforms in Medicaid that I think you do as well. But you got to look at other areas of the budget and try and find let's start bending the curve down. You start bending the curve down, you get growth in the economy, more revenue coming in that way, and pretty soon this thing starts to look manageable. And I think that's what this exercise and process ought to be about. And we ought to use the opportunity we have in front of us to do something meaningful to get the country on a more sustainable fiscal path.
How often do you talk to the speaker?
All the time.
Is he going to go along with this raising the higher rate, you think? I heard he was pushing back. And
yeah, I mean, I don't like.
President sounds meh.
I don't, and I'm not saying I don't think anybody's endorsing that at this point, Joe. But I do think
I thought it was coming.
As they look at this, there are decisions that have to be made about how to accommodate some of the things the president wants to do, some of the new things, and how to accommodate making some of these policies permanent. And I think, frankly, as I mentioned earlier, permanence is something that the economy would pick up on and say, this is pro-growth. This will create jobs and generate growth in the economy.
2 ways to make $38 trillion in debt manageable, guys. Very, very simple. One, something like DOGE department, curbing irresponsible government spending, first of all. And secondly, crypto. Exactly. Crypto Crossroads, thank you, bro. Heads up, CP Group and the Asian BlackRock owns Lightlink and influences Velo Labs. Nice. Carlos, I'll challenge y'all to 100 push-ups. I don't know if you want to challenge me, brother. 100 push-ups, 50 push-ups for me right now. There you go. Got to get those gains, guys. Cody, how's everybody Saturday? Hope everyone's having an amazing weekend. Happy Mother's Day today also. There you go, man. There you go. Yes, happy Mother's Day. Maximilian, how can I... Oh, get out of here. Scammers, man. Scammers going to scam. I don't believe MSNBC. Fake news. That's fair. You shouldn't believe everything you see. Guys, quick shout out again to the channel sponsor, Descent Self-Custody Wallet. Get yourselves the biometric wallet or the card wallet or both. Today, guys, I have both. I use both. I highly recommend you do the same. Not your keys, not your coins. Keep your crypto safe off exchanges. Use our link down below. Get a fantastic deal. All right, what's Bitcoin doing right now? Still inside our bull pennant. So we'll see how this plays out, guys. I will be back later tonight. However, I have to do a bunch of one-on-one coaching calls right now over on the Patreon. If you want a one-on-one coaching call, guys, get over there. Get your spot booked in today. If you need personalized one-on-one assistance, jump over, book your one-on-one coaching calls. As a Patreon member, they're absolutely free, so take advantage of it, guys. And also, like I said, tonight we've dropped 2 microcap gems this week. We're dropping a third one tonight. So make sure you guys are over there for that. You do not want to miss out on these projects, guys. Get in early before the market goes nuts. I'm excited about these projects. Great narratives, great tokenomics, and so much more. And we're not talking meme coins here, guys. We're talking solid utility plays that are going to do absolutely phenomenal. AI sectors, decentralized finance narratives, and so much more. Check it out. The link is down below. It's in the pinned comments. It's in the description. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. I'll see you guys in the next one. God bless.